Hi, Trevor here, reflecting on life through music. Welcome and thank you for stopping by. It's fantastic you are here. Well, I trust you enjoyed my last two videos on music icon David Bowie, a guy that really changed the world and brought himself to it. So I trust you found that one an encouragement. Well, we're going to another guy that was born in England today. David Albert Cook was born in 1947 in Plaistow, Essex. There's a bit of a hint there. He had a pretty exciting life as a young soccer player, football player for West Ham United in the juniors, but he decided, no, I'm going to do music instead. And he sort of started playing drums for a few local bands around where he lived. The guy we're talking about today is David Essex. He's got such an incredible little style to him. He's got a really quirky accent, and he's really just such the compelling performer, that is for sure. This guy's been going for a while as well. Between 1973, when he became big, to 2013, there's been 29 studio albums. Now that's getting up there quite a bit in albums, 64 singles, 9 compilation albums, and he's been involved in 14 soundtracks. Because as well as his musical prowess, he has also been in some movie television spots as well. And he is a Grammy nominated artist, and in 1999 he received an Order of the British Empire, so he's an OBE. That's how much he's well regarded in the industry. Now, when I think of David Essex, and I'll get onto a couple of songs of his in a minute, I think of his stint in the Jeff Wayne production of War of the Worlds that came out in 1978. Now, War of the Worlds was this book that was written by H.G. Wells, and when it was a radio play on radio, people really thought the world was being invaded by Martians. That's just how compelling the story was. And then in 1978, Jeff Wayne came out and put music to the story, and David Essex was the artillery man in that particular recording. We've never seen a live version of David Essex singing this song, but certainly the artillery man was a guy who'd been on the front line against the Martians, and then he decided, well, this is all just too hard, and he gave up, and he thought, we're going to make a brave new world underground. And very, very difficult to sing, and David Essex was perfectly cast for that role because the tune just goes all over the place, and it just needs that passion and the excitement that David Essex brings to any performance he puts on. And so when I think of David Essex, I very much think of that production. It's very encouraging to know that in this, I suppose, millennium, War of the Worlds has come back as a live performance. It's really, really quite compelling to see it live with everything that's going on. Well, anyway, back to David Essex. Now, there's a couple of songs you cannot talk about David Essex without talking about two songs in particular. One is Hold Me Close, and the other one is Rock On. And I'm thinking it was the song Rock On where I want to go today. Now, this song reached #1 in Canada, #5 in the USA, and #3 in the UK. This song is just so hard to sing. There's not much in the way of music. All we've got is a bass guitar and some drums and a bit of backup vocal, and that is it. David Essex carries the tune, he carries the vibe, he carries the whole thing with just him and his voice on stage. Now, this song has been covered by, arena rockers at Def Leppard as well, so there have been some other people that have covered this song, because this is probably, as far as David Essex and him writing this song, it's kind of one of these songs of the 1970s because it was just so different to everything else. Now, one of the lines in the song is, where do we go from here? Now, you may remember when I did Cliff Richard, so long ago now, there was a song by him called Where Do We Go From Here? And I very much looked at where we have been at the moment in amongst pandemics and, you know, riots and people being displaced in the world and all the rest of it. That, now, where do we go from here? Now, if you've just been through a bit of a trial and a bit of a struggle and you're thinking, oh my goodness, don't want to get up tomorrow even, where do you go from here? Well, it's interesting, you know, there's kind of two things going on at the same time. We've got the sadness that we're feeling about the particular event, and we're thinking, oh man, this is just so overwhelming and so horrible, and man, I just don't know how I'm going to get through it. That's one side of the coin. On the other side of the coin, we've got the fact that you have to continue to live your life. And so instead of one thing becoming a focus, you have two things. That is the grief or the sadness or the loss you're feeling, and also the fact you have to live your life day by day. And I suppose the song Rock On is very much talking about the day by day living that we need to do after something has happened. You know, rock on, carry on, walk on. Just keep living one step at a time. Well, you might be thinking to myself, well, hey Trevor, how do you do that? What a fantastic question. And I think it's got to do with the amount of hold that the horrible thing has over us at any given time. Yes, it is going to have a hold of us no matter what we do. And I think maybe the thing we need to do is to resolve the fact, instead of trying to pretend it's not there and to move on from it and all the rest of the stuff that you need to do. I think the better thing to do maybe, and this might resonate with you, it might not, but it might, is to accept the fact it's there. It's part of our life experience. It's part of who we are. And it doesn't matter what we try and do to try and shake it, it's probably always going to be there to a certain extent. So if it's going to be there to a certain extent, what's the answer now? And that is to try and limit its effect by accepting it, embracing it, and inviting it to be part of you. Because then, you know, it can become a learning experience, something that we can grow from. Yes, we need to feel it. We do need to feel it because, you know, it's part of our experience. If we just pretend it's not there, it's going to catch up with us eventually. So the better thing to do is to realise that it is always going to be there and to make it part of your experience. You know, you may be thinking, well, why has this thing happened? Why me? What have I done to deserve this? Could be, and might be a hard thing to hear, that there is no answer to the why question. It just is what it is. But it's now part of your experience. And, you know, if you want to continue to live your life and for life to be, and for you to be part of life, well, you're going to carry this thing forward. But carry it forward gently. Carry it forward as part of you. But carry it forward in a way that it becomes part of your whole life experience. Yeah, you might think of a previous experience that you've had and you think, oh man, that was a horrible time back then. But you know, you are here now. And you've somehow been able to cope with it and deal with it. It's not because you have tried to forget it. It's because you've incorporated it into your experience. And so therefore, you know, all of who we are, the good stuff, the bad stuff, and the you know, the whatever stuff, is all part of who we are. And certainly the challenge of David Essex today, when he says, where do we go from here, is to think, well, I am going to go on from here. I have all these life experiences that are part of me now. I have all these life experiences that I need to learn from and grow from, but they are my life experiences. And so I'm going to rock on regardless. Now, when you rock on, you just don't. It's not kind of like a timid walk forward. It's like there's a bit of a something in your step, a bit of embracing who you are, embracing all that life has meant for you, and being able to just move forward with a little bit of confidence despite the stuff that's happened. Because there's two things going on here at the same time. There is the sadness stuff, but there is also the moving on stuff. And David Essex's Rock On is certainly part of the moving on stuff. That is for sure. And you might be thinking, well, I don't even know where here is. How am I meant to get there? Well, you know the next bit, and that's all you need to focus on for now. The next step will happen after you've stepped that one. So if you're going through this stuff right now, think about how you are living life while you are dealing with the stuff you're dealing with at the same time. And may this video just be an encouragement for you in your journey. I'm not going to say ignore it, forget it, and hope it goes away. No, the best thing you can do is to embrace it, because it's part of who you are now. And embrace it in a good way. It's part of who you are, you wonderful, unique individual that you are. So trust that will be an encouragement for you today. Well, on to the clips. And yes, we do have to have Rock On. This came from the 1973 album On and On, written by David Essex. And as you watch this live version of this one, you think, man, how difficult is this song to pull off? There's not much backing behind him. It's just a bass and a bit of drum. And he is absolutely taking us along for the ride. That is for sure. Here you see David Essex in his absolute performing best, I'm thinking. And he's about the only one capable of pulling off the song in this way. That is for sure. Now, you also have to talk about Hold Me Close. This came off the 1975 album, All the Fun of the Fair. This went to #1 in the UK and #2 in Australia. Just goes to show how successful this guy was. When this song came out, he was a bit of a teen idol. So there was a few screaming girls, few screaming fans. And this particular version, it's again a live version here. So you get to see all of that stuff going on. David has just got this real cheeky smile about him. This is a really beautifully shot clip, actually, that just shows his cheekiness off really, really well. And so that one's there for you as well. So the links to both of those live versions are in the description below. That's where you'll always find my videos. And I've also included my last clip from my last David Bowie. So if you want to check out on that one, feel free. Well, if you've come back for another video, fantastic, welcome back. Or if this is your first time to Life Reflections Through Music, welcome to the channel, and thank you very much for everyone who's hung around to this point in this video. The encouragement always is to hang around if you would like, because you might find something interesting, that is for sure. Well, that's it for today. Next time we're going to go on to singer-songwriter David Gray. So until then, I'll catch you around. Bye for now.